What's going on, everyone? John here, the Wolf VCom, and I'm going to talk to you about one of the biggest questions I get, which is why are my CPM so high? CPM meaning cost per impression, cost to reach 1,000 people in your placements, your newsfeed, your stories, wherever you're running your ads, right? So we're going to go ahead and explain some strategies and ideas to work around this. But before we get into that, make sure to like this video and of course subscribe as always. And if you get something from this, which I'm super confident you will, make sure to share this maybe in a group you're part of or with people that you know that run e-commerce and dropshipping or Facebook ads in general. So let's go ahead and get started. So, here it is, and we're literally on election day when I'm filming this, and we're right in the heat of Q4. If you haven't had everything shut down, because this year has been a disaster the last 2 months when it comes to restricted profiles and banned ad accounts and business managers, well, first of all, make sure to check out my other videos where I show you how to work around all of that garbage that Facebook is unfortunately putting us through right now. It's just part of the process, and only the strong will survive the next few months and maximize Q4. But what I do want to say is in this video, I'm going to show you how to influence your cost, right? Because going into Q4, historically, CPMs are going to be higher, and there's not a ton we can do to force our CPMs down to $5 to $10 US. But I'm going to show you what you can to maximize the influence on CPMs and bring your overall cost down, right? Because you can probably care less about a CPM if your cost per purchase is right where you want it. So let's get started, all right? What I've done is, first I wanted to point out the two things that mainly influence CPMs. First, it's going to be the competition and the competition of the audience itself, right? So if you have a large audience with less competition, generally speaking, that should result in lower CPMs. If you have a large audience with a lot of relative competition, you're probably going to have higher CPMs, okay? Whereas on the flip side, if you have a smaller audience with could be even more or less competition in this case, depending on the size of the audience, you might still run into higher CPMs. I also find it's hard to really say this exactly, but I find that specific niches sometimes have higher CPMs versus others. Like apparel might generally have higher, like different CPMs than kitchenware, right? But you just got to kind of take it by case, product by product, right? And also, more importantly, what we're actually talking about is going to be the match or the mismatch of the ad to the audience itself. So if you're selling, iPhone headsets, right? So AirPods, not the knockoffs, the real ones. If you're selling AirPods to cosmetic, interests, right, which may actually have higher CPMs naturally, you will be in trouble, right? Because putting a product in front of the audience that may have zero interest or desire or less interest or desire than actual cosmetics, for example. So that has a big impact, all right? But generally speaking, we don't have a ton of hacks or leverage. There have been things and tactics and tricks that have come and gone in the Facebook ads platform that have allowed us to manipulate the CPM, but right now there's nothing that I know of personally. And also, when those things come and go, it's a very short window usually. Usually the system corrects itself and Facebook catches on, right? Because they probably see something in their data or their system does for us. The CPMs do matter, like don't get me wrong, right? So if I could choose a product that has $10 to $20 CPMs, even with good ads and the right targeting, over a product that has $50 to $60 CPMs, I obviously would prefer working with lower CPMs, okay? But I'm gonna show you why they matter, but they actually don't in a sense as well. So here's scenario one. Scenario one, you're getting $8 CPMs, right? So $8 to reach 1,000 people. And obviously this math isn't exact. I'm just giving you rough estimates. So the numbers wouldn't be exactly like this, but generally speaking, in example one, we have lower CPM, $8. We're getting $1 cost per click, and then we're getting like maybe 0.67 click-through rate, okay? Maybe lower, maybe higher than that, but you get the point. Low engagement, most likely, low click-through rate, so out of everyone that sees the ad, a smaller percentage are clicking on the ad, which means you're paying a little bit more to get that customer or that potential customer to your store. In scenario two, we have higher CPMs, $20 CPMs. We have a much higher click-through rate, so almost 5% of the people that see this ad are clicking on it and going to your store. And then it's a result of only paying 53 cents cost per click, so about half of what you would pay in scenario one here. Now, from this standpoint, right? So if our goal is just to get traffic to the store and we don't actually care about conversion, obviously scenario 2 is actually better because you're paying less for the result. The result is, in this case, specific case, is going to be cost per click. Now, the best of both worlds is when you get, or the best of all worlds, not both, would be low CPMs, high click-through rate, low cost per click, and high conversion rate, because then everything is working perfectly. But that's a unicorn. That's not going to be super common, right? Now let's look at what actually matters, which is going to be conversion rate, okay? And we will talk about how to influence and manipulate CPMs to an extent, or maximize it, right? Maximize the opportunity to influence, I should say. And I'm going to show you some live examples of products I'm running right now. But what I do want to say here is, let's look at these two scenarios. So same numbers, same CPM, same cost per click, same click-through rate. But check this out. Scenario 1 person for every 10 visits, right? So if we have 10 people click on the ad and go to the store, 1 person is going to add to the cart, right? So we're paying $10 add to carts, and then about 1 out of 2 are purchasing. Okay, so we're paying a little bit less than $20 cost per purchase. If these numbers were consistent over time at scale, so you're seeing that we're getting low CPMs, high cost per click, low click-through rates, but high conversion. So we're paying $17 a purchase, right? That should be your goal if you're doing e-commerce. Lower cost per conversion. Scenario 2, we're getting cheaper traffic, right? $20 CPM, so higher CPMs. We're getting higher engagement on the ad, almost 5%, 53 cents a click, just like we talked about in our first example. But less people are adding to the cart, resulting in a lower conversion rate. Less people are actually purchasing as an end result. So in this case, which one is better? Obviously, scenario 1, you're paying more per click with lower CPMs, yes, but you're getting a cheaper conversion, right? So you're paying less for the sale. That's what matters. The cost per click is amazing. If you can get 5% click-through rate, 5% of the people that see your ad to go to the store, and then only pay 53 cents a click, that should set you up for a potentially low cost per purchase. But in this case, it's not the result. And this is what happens sometimes. Sometimes the other way. Sometimes you're getting this cost per purchase and cost per cart down here, and that's obviously better. So how do we actually influence it? What do we do about high CPMs? So 2 general ideas I want you to take away with, okay? So first is gonna be the placement, right? So if you actually, in your targeting on Facebook ads, if you said, I wanna run this ad set specifically for mobile newsfeed, this ad set specifically for desktop newsfeed, this ad set specifically for stories, this ad set specifically for audience network, you're gonna get a different CPM for each placement. So the placement itself is gonna kind of have like a starting point in addition to the ad matching or mismatching, and then the competitiveness of the targeting of the niche, right, or the interest or lookalike or whatever it is. Okay, so the placement will have an impact, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend you go and split up your placements. It historically has not worked great for me personally, okay, but test everything as always. What I would recommend you do is you focus on creating a better ad. So an ad that gets higher click-through rate, higher engagement, all the positive things. You want an ad that people actually catches their attention. It gets them to click. Because if your conversion rate is the same and you have a better ad, that means you pay less per click and it should result in a lower cost per purchase. If your ad is worse, it's going to cost you more to get someone to click, generally speaking, assuming everything else is the same, and your cost per purchase is going to be higher. So I'll give you some examples in a second of how to get a better and a lower cost per click and a higher click-through rate to set yourself up for a lower cost per conversion, per cost per sale. But generally speaking, we can leverage the cost per click to lower with more engaging ads and things that people actually want to click on to look more at and check out your store. That's typically how it works, right? So let me show you a quick example. This is a product that I've been testing, that I've been really working at. It's a US fulfillment product. It's a branded store. So the goal is to build a brand with this long term. So I want you to check out some really interesting things. So if we look at these campaigns right here, what you're gonna see is that my CPMs are $14 across all campaigns. Not bad. My engagement's about 1%. My cost per click is $1.35. Okay, this is all US traffic. I'm getting a $25 cost per add to cart, so anywhere from 18 to 35. And then of that, less than half of those are adding or actually making a purchase, right? So about a third, give or take, are actually making a purchase. So that's a problem because we're losing money here. Now, what I've done is I tested different ad formats. So same placements. I took the best interests with the same placements. So all we did was we changed the type of ad. So we went from image ads to video ads, okay? And this is a apparel item. So check this out. Here's our creative test. I tested 4 different versions. I'll show you what I did. We've cut our CPMs down by 50%. We've cut our cost per click down as much as about 50%, if not more, right, on our best ad. We took our best ads, which we teach in our academy, right? Check that out if you haven't already, links in the description. And we put it into our creatives and audience. So we put our best interests so far with our new best ad, right? And here's the result. So things are working really well, to say the least. This is not the first time I've done this, and this is not the first time it's worked. But you can see here, the CPMs are dirt cheap, $6 US. Paying is on average 70 cents a click, as little as 53 cents. Our click-through rates, a little bit less than the image ads. But here's the best part. We are finding that we're paying $5 an add to cart versus an average of 25. So we cut our actual cart cost by, I don't know, a lot, more than 70%, maybe 80%. And then our cost per purchase is drastically lower. We're paying $8.75 to sell a $40 item, whereas they usually bundle and get more. But nonetheless, you can see here how all these can have a major impact on the actual outcome. So now for every dollar we spent, just today, for example, we've generated almost $5.89, $6, right? And this should keep up. There's no reason why this should go backwards. It could stop converting, but nonetheless, this is an example of leveraging creative type, right, format to set yourself up for a cheaper cost per purchase, okay? So what did I do? All right, so let me show you what I did specifically so you can do the same thing too. So I made a new campaign, conversions. I'm not even gonna bother labeling any of this. I went straight to the ad level. This is blurred out. Sorry guys, I'm not gonna show you my store. And now when I'm here, what I did was I chose first create slideshow. I used this one, and then I simply added the same product images, right? So I would just go here. I'm not gonna open it up right now because you'll see all my products, but this, you would basically just choose the same exact ad images that you tested originally. And then you made your slideshow, same talking points, 4 to 7 day US shipping, high quality, blah, 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 right? So same things that you're getting across in your copy, okay? So I did that for 2 ad sets with the best performing versions of text so far. And then I also did a create video. Same deal, I chose one of these templates, very simple, and then I added the same exact product images and made the same talking points. And that's it. And just by turning the ad creative into a video format versus an image format, that has allowed me to reduce my costs dramatically. And it's interesting because it's not actually performing with higher engagement, right? So you're seeing we're getting 1.38% engagement here, 1.36 here. On our newer campaigns, we're actually getting maybe like 0.92 to 0.97 click-through rate engagement. And then our click-through rate is down a little bit, but we're paying less for the impression. And my theory with why this is working is because it's a different type of creative, right? So you want to imagine Facebook is dividing up its users' newsfeed by the type of creative, right? So they know some people engage heavily in images, they know some people engage heavily in posts, they know some people engage more heavily in videos. So I'm tapping into another segment of my target audience that is more video dominant versus image dominant. This is the way it's been explained to me by very smart people that know this way better than me, and this is the way I'm explaining to you, the easiest way to explain it. But nonetheless, it's not so much that image is better than video, it's just it's bringing my cost down, right? And it's getting a better outcome. And this is what I hope to see you experiment with and test for yourself. But this is just one example of what you can do. So that's one thing, right? So increase click-through rate and engagement. This could influence your CPMs to come down. No guarantees there. But if you get more people to click on the ad that see it, that is going to bring your cost per click down, and that should bring your cost down all the way from click to purchase down with it, all right? Second thing is, I've talked about this in other videos, how to diagnose your Facebook ads and why they're not performing. This would be the pricing, the bundle, the page design, the copy, basically what they see when they land on your store. Is it garbage? Is it ugly? Is it gaudy? Does the price mismatch? Is it a bad product? It could be a lot of things. I can't solve all those things for you in this one video. And then maybe the trust, right? The trust of the checkout. Maybe they get to the checkout and things are like misaligned and there's some glitches, or it's super slow, or it just looks sketchy, right? And they just don't feel good about checking out. So that could definitely deter payments and people actually making payments. So my camera died there, so I wanted to finish this off with you, but I was just saying, ultimately, all of these things can have an impact, right? Because it's not just about the percentage of people that click through on the ad, it's about ultimately people percentage that add to the cart, the percentage of those people that add to the cart that go to the checkout, and the percentage of people that go from the checkout to actually making a purchase, and how much they spend before or after the purchase is done, right? So those are all your levers, all of your points, okay? Sorry, I had to flip over to the iPhone to finish this out, but I didn't want to leave you hanging there. So make sure to take advantage of what I showed you here and see what you can do to influence your cost per impression, your CPM, but really just bring down your cost per click and get your conversion rate up with it. Those are the two magic things you could do, okay? And my name's John, as always. I'm the Wolf of VCOP. I'm here to help you guys crush the game, all right, by just bringing regular value. So if you got anything from this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And also, as always, share this video if you got something from it with someone that you know would as well.